Namaste, namaskaram, vanakkam, namo namaha, Jai Ganesha. Please visit our website at classicalyoga.org, and there is a donate button if you would like to help us out. Today's podcast, the wisdom of childhood and spring. Today is our first warm day, a sign of spring, coming out of the winter season of Raja Yoga, culminating in Mahashivaratri. Remember, on a daily basis, weekly, monthly, yearly basis, lifetime basis, we follow the classic yogas that constitute the Hindu dharma: karma yoga, bhakti yoga, raja yoga, jnana yoga. In general, ethics, devotion, meditation or contemplation to enlightenment, the ongoing process of unfoldment, atmadarshana paramo dharma. But if we look at the 4 seasons, if we live in an area where there are 4 classic seasons, summer is karma yoga season, fall is bhakti yoga season, winter is raja yoga season when we literally go in more, culminating in our enlightenment experiences, jnana yoga. And now we come out again into the fullness of spring as we begin this cycle all over again. Karma yoga, ethics and selfless service, seva, foundational yoga for all Hindus. Ethics in general, the foundation for a successful, fruitful, healthy life. So on this relatively warm day, I took a walk, and there were some little children out on the grass, just playing as little children do, spinning around, doing cartwheels. The universal joy and attitude of childhood. Spinning around, laughing, totally lacking any kind of self-consciousness. This we obviously learn later on as we get stiffer and we learn to march to the beat of life. That's an important part of life, but notice the difference between children who love to just unabashedly spin around, do cartwheels, laugh, and later on when perhaps certainly the men join the military, they learn to march in a straight line. Remember, there's a time for straight line stuff, if you will, straight line thinking, but also the joy of the circular movement of life. A spring in one's step. And at springtime, it brings a new sense of joy and hope. And think of the spring itself. The English word, obviously. A spring coils, spins around and around, a spiral. The very spiraling nature that is life itself, the intelligent design of the universe, from the spiraling galaxies to the most powerful forces in nature, the spiraling hurricane and tornado, whirlpool, which goes right to the bottom of the ocean where you find the spiraling conch shell, which is a sacred shell to the Hindus, of course, as we blow the conch, and even to the Hawaiians. We even have this spiral inside of our ear, the cochlea, that's allowing us to pick up on the sounds. The spiraling DNA, this intelligent design. The spiral is, of course, circular, but it's different than the circle, isn't it? Because it continues on. It's a great experience to walk up a spiral staircase. Perhaps you've been up a lighthouse. Simply by going around and around, vertically, you ascend. Think of the wisdom of that. As we keep repeating a process, practice is everything. Slow by slow, step by step, pade pade, thread by thread, sutra by sutra, we complete the task. This is evolution itself. In fact, the word spiral means to evolve. This revolution of life. As we go round and round, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, decade after decade, perhaps lifetime after lifetime. Spring, summer, fall, winter. Spring, summer, fall, winter. Round and round we go. The primordial dance of life, the spring of life, the revolution of life, the spiral dance of creation. Children get it. They have no problem doing cartwheels, spinning around. It's primordial. And very often, if you look in a playground, you'll see a little instrument that goes round and round. In the circus, they have the death-defying acts, and certainly in carnivals, amusement parks, the popular rides are the ones that go round and round, circular, spiraling, bringing great joy and excitement to people. The natural, inherent tendency to transcend our everyday, if you will, experiences. Notice when children love to spin around and around and around, so they get so dizzy they fall down. So there's that inherent need to transcend. They're getting into a different mindset, a different state of mind. Of course, we need to be careful with this, especially the older we get. We don't want to spin out of control. In other words, it's a controlled spin, a controlled dance of life. This is the meaning of the image in Hinduism of the dancing Shiva, Nataraja, which is the very science of life. The dance of molecules, the dance of atoms, the dance of quarks, the dance of strings. The simple and profound joy of springtime as we spring into action, as Mother Nature springs into action. Hope springs eternal. Quote, end quote. Alexander Pope. We'll get into a little bit of his life in a moment, but no hope, no optimism, no enthusiasm for life. It's a sad state of being. Hope is also faith. In the Hindu Yoga Dharma, in Sanskrit, we call hope Asha. And as if others have said, don't take away somebody's hope. It might be all they have at that moment. We all have hope and faith about life. But we don't want to just stay there, obviously. This is where many criticize religious faith or hope. We don't want to just stay in a state of hope or faith. We want to carry it through to basically a guarantee. So too with belief. Beliefs start as assumptions and hopefully end in convictions. This is actually the scientific method, as you start with a hypothesis, a belief, an assumption, and you carry it through experiments to an outcome, to a conviction. So too with faith or hope. Think for a moment when you first met someone. You didn't know them, you had certain hopes or faith about them, but after you've lived with that person for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, whatever, you pretty much have a guarantee of how they're going to act and react. Of course, as human beings, we're complex individuals, so we always have to be prepared for the unexpected. And children, and hopefully the child in all of us, exemplify this enthusiasm, this optimism for life. Yeah, and then as we get older and we've had many, many disappointments in life, that hope and faith starts to fade a bit. But this is where the willpower comes in. To reconnect again to that child, that divineness that's within all of us all the time. That's actually our Atmana to us as Hindus. Others may refer to it as the soul. But we call it the Atmana, the inner essence of love and light and energy. Is this not what children beautifully exemplify? So this is the wisdom of childhood. And notice that the word hood, a hoodie, is something you put on. It covers you up. So why not once again try to regain, cover up, be embraced by this childlike experience in the adult body. For now we know rationally what to do and what not to do, hopefully. We've developed our powers of reason. But keep the childlike attitude of love and light and energy and enthusiasm and optimism and spontaneity. Though it's not easy, but this is where we all need to take a reality check. So interestingly, Hope Springs Eternal, a quote by Alexander Pope. If anybody exemplified hope in life, it was Alexander Pope. Born in 1688. Very interesting life. Alexander was born to Catholic parents in not so merry, especially for the Catholics, Old England. For at that time, the Church of England actually banned Catholics from teaching, from attending university, from voting, from holding public office. And this is Christian against Christian. Imagine the mindset of the Anglicans when they went to India and saw all those degraded heathen Hindus. Very interesting, that monotheistic mindset that even destroys itself within itself. And with a last name like Pope, obviously, this did not bode well for his entire life. Alexander lived to be 56 years of age, and he suffered from ill health from young. He had a form of tuberculosis that affected his spine, and he had a hunchback. He suffered from horrible headaches. He only reached a height of 4'6", which, especially for a man, is extremely debilitating. He never married, though it is said that he had several female friends. But he gifted a tremendous body of literary work. His essay on criticisms, for example. He did translations of the Iliad and the Odyssey. He was friends with Jonathan Swift. So you can go on Google, obviously. This is the beauty of Google, and find a list of his works. He was considered a great satirist, for which he courted many enemies. So what is satire? Satire is the use of humor to expose people's stupidity. For example, here at the Classical Yoga Hindu Academy, we have ongoing classes in baptism, underwater therapy, and communion, monthly wine tastings. And we also offer 200-hour certified courses in becoming a physician or a lawyer. So there's obviously some humor there, but the Hindus are not laughing. At least the devout Hindus are not, the concerned Hindus are not laughing. But others are laughing all the way to the bank. All those with their prolific businesses of hot yoga and power yoga, and goat yoga, kino yoga, Om stars. Quote, a little learning is a dangerous thing, end quote. This is also attributed to Alexander Pope, as well as, quote, fools rush in where angels fear to tread, end quote. Also, quote, to err is human, to forgive is divine. Of course, in order to forgive someone or be forgiven, we must first atone. We must recognize that we've done something wrong before we're truly forgiven. So satire is meant to expose our stupidity, which is our childishness, which, like the divine childlike nature, one can be possessed by a childishness at any age. And it is, in a sense, to be forgiven for true children because they're on a learning curve. And hopefully this is where we have to have an adult in the room. But when adults, quote unquote, participate in such childish behavior, egocentric, egotistical behavior, this needs to be corrected. And satire is one of the ways to expose this childish behavior. As we once again regain the wisdom of childhood, actually in the Hindu yoga dharma. And remember, folks, that all of real yoga is all about the Hindu religion, Hindu dharma, taught by Hindus and obviously not for a fee. And yoga is a general term within Hinduism for the many aspects of the Hindu lifestyle: karma yoga, bhakti yoga, raja yoga, jnana yoga, hatha yoga, mantra yoga, japa yoga, nada yoga, natha yoga, kundalini yoga. This is all about the Hindu dharma. And obviously true to any religion taught by, in this case, Hindus. And again, true to any religion, the basic teachings are always offered on a donation basis. One doesn't make a business, though there's a business end to religion, of course, they have to survive. But one doesn't make a business out of the teachings. This is the nasty, childlike behavior. So the wisdom of childhood begins with wisdom. And wisdom is the ability to discern or recognize difference. So too with judgment. Judgment is the ability to make wise decisions. So too with critical thinking. The need to distinguish between rational and irrational beliefs through logic and a thorough testing of the claims made. And finally, never confusing generalities and specifics. In general, we're all humans, but specifically, we've taken on a specific form with a specific name, specific occupation perhaps, specific religion. So too with religious devotions, for example. That's a very general term, but it's Hindus that do bhakti yoga. All religions have their ethical codes of conduct, in general. But specifically, the yamas and the niyamas, for example, is one of the Hindu ethical codes of conduct. There's water involved in baptism, but baptism is a sacred Christian rite. So too, at least with Catholics, they use wine in their sacred ceremony. But communion is not a wine tasting. It's a sacred Christian rite. Stretching, relaxation, concentration. That's all fine. That's very general. But Hatha Yoga are specific Hindu postures. So let's take refuge in the inner child nature within all of us. In the Hindu Yoga Dharma, we experience this at the Anahata Chakra, the heart chakra, which we all know is the place where we signify love. We send hearts to each other on Valentine's Day. And it is at this heart chakra that we symbolically place the Hindu youthful loving warrior deities, Muruga, Skanda, Hanuman, Krishna, Durga Ma. So now in the adult body, with a good solid foundation of logic and reasoning, judgment, critical thinking, wisdom, we enter into the heart of the youthful loving warrior, keeping all three things, becoming a youthful loving warrior. So, don't be a fool who rushes in, but a wise individual who loves from within. So enjoy this springtime, this eternal springtime, Sanatan, and be filled with love and light and energy. Om, this are we, with emotions, mind, and body. And seek peace through wisdom and justice. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.